Okay, welcome MDM4U folks. This lesson is preview lesson for Chapter 8. You've just written your Chapter 7 test. Very recently we worked on a one variable stats review assignment, and this is more review as well. We're sort of taking it easy, easing our way into Chapter 8 here. The first thing that we're going to talk about is graphing exponential functions, and in grade 11, whether you took 3M or 3U, we talked about some exponential functions, and for the most part you were able to graph some of these just by memorizing their shapes, and we don't care to do that. It's not a lot of function work in this course. What we're going to do, how we're going to do this, is just by firing this into a calculator. So use a table and a calculator. So for the first one, y equals 2 to the exponent x. Well, essentially what we do is we take out the x and put in what it is for that that value. So 2 to the exponent minus 3, and then we can either remember our exponent rules. Remember 2 to the exponent minus 3. The negative exponent means for you to flip it, invert 1 over 8. So this is 1 over 8. Or if you just use a calculator, that's going to be 0.125. This one's 0.25. And again, right into a calculator, 0.5. 2 to the exponent 0 is 1. And this is where it starts becoming the exponents that are easy to remember. 2 to the exponent 2 is 4. 2 to the exponent 3 is 8. And again, all I'm doing is taking this value of x and putting it into this function and evaluating it. And then I can graph it. All right, there's my graph paper, and this business is a bunch of notes for the other ones, but I'm going to graph this as well, noting that none of the outputs are negatives. So for the most part, I'm going to stick to a positive or y values rather. We haven't done many graphs like this, but it shouldn't scare us too bad. All right. So what kind of scale? We only go up to positive 3, so I don't know, something like this maybe. There's negative over there, negative, negative, and whatever you use for your scale, it doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll go up by ones here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. And not all of these exponential functions are going to fit on my graph. Of course, they do go up pretty fast. This one maybe. 0.125 is very small in here somewhere. Then a quarter. Negative 1 and 0.5 is right maybe there. This maybe should be a little bit lower. And when x is 0, y is 1, right there, and so on, right? I'm going to start doubling, and I get a fairly familiar exponential shape, right? This is an exponential function. Nice smooth curve between all of them. Yeah, that's not bad. And I'm going to go on and do the rest of these. For the most part, we can just pound them into our calculator. I might mention during this example other ways that we could get these, but I'm just going to get practice plotting these points and go fairly fast. I'll probably do the table with you and then pause the video and then show you the final answer to see if you can get the same thing. The next one's pretty neat. This is new, unless you've taken calculus already, and I don't think many of you have. This is a new exponential function. E is a special number used in math and in science. It's a button on your calculator as well. So if you look at your calculator, somewhere in here there should be an E button. Now on this calculator, is there one? I think so. It's usually around the LN. Sometimes it'll be, I had to press my inverse button to get the E. And so if I put in -3, Oops, hang on. Clear, clear, clear. Clear, 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 clear. Okay. So I put in the 3 and put it minus 3 because I've got my calculator, this is an old calculator type, and I got to put in my minus 3 first and then hit my E button. Then that gives me e to the exponent minus 3. So this is e to the exponent minus 3, 0.04, almost 0.05 if I round it off to the nearest decimal place. Okay, and so on. I can keep doing that. I'll go, put in my minus 2, clear, 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 2, make it minus, and then go e to the exponent that. That's going to be 0.135-ish. On your calculator is probably a little bit more like the graphing calculator. So where you have to put the e in first. And on the graphing calculator, you see it's above the ln again, e to the exponent x. And just like most calculators, it already puts into the exponent, right? This is saying e to the exponent. Now, what do you want me to put in the exponent? And I put in minus 1 and press enter. And then that gives me the 0.3679. 0.3679. And then I know e to the exponent 0, anything to the exponent 0 is going to be 1. It doesn't matter that it's this nasty decimal. And then I can keep going. E to the exponent 1, e to the exponent 2. I put those all into my calculator, and I get these numbers. And you should practice that. Don't just copy this off of my lesson here. You should be actually practicing that. And e to the exponent 3 is 20.086. Okay, dandy. Well, and I'll plot that later. Next one, notice we got 5 to the exponent minus x, and probably back in grade 11 you might remember what the minus does, but we don't really have to care about that. We're just going to put in values for x and fire them into our calculator. That's it. That's all I expect you to do. So over here, 5 to the exponent negative x, but x this time is minus 3. 5 to the exponent minus 3 is 5 to the exponent 3. Use your calculator, and you get these values. And I'll plot these graphs soon enough. And then even when we have, we'll see this one's actually a little bit strange. 10 to the exponent negative 2x. Y equals 10 to the exponent minus 2x. Again, I'm taking out the x and filling it with whatever this is equal to. So if it's minus 3, this is 10 to the exponent 6, right? Negative 2, that's 10 to the exponent 6. This is a huge number. This is a million. And then now when I put in, and I could use my calculator for this as well, right? 10 to the exponent negative 2 times negative 2, that's 4. 10 to the exponent 4. A 1 with 4 zeros, and so on. I can keep going here. This is still 1. And then these are almost 0 right away. I got, for this one here, I'll do this. Right? 10 to the exponent minus 2. X is 1 is 10 to the exponent minus 2, which is 1 over 10 squared, which is 1 over 100, which is 100th. There it is. And the next one is 0.0001, and then this is almost 0. It doesn't matter. It's not going to fit. And so there you got the values. What I'm going to do is pause the video, draw the graphs. You should do the same, and then we'll compare at the end, okay? Okay, there's my graphs, and we see that it's hard for me to graph this. I got a bunch of wobbly lines, but a lot of these points just don't fit on my graph because these exponential functions they go up so quickly. What we'll see, somehow we're going to see a connection between these graphs, these shapes, and some probability questions, believe it or not. And we'll see that actually as soon as the next example, which I'm going to pick up in part 2 of this video. Okay, folks?